Thinking about buying a franchise? Then the How to Buy a Franchise show is just for you. Here's your host, Dr. John Hayes.
Tipton Shonkwiler is with United Franchise Group. He's the Director of International Development for them, but also oversees one of their 8 brands, SuperGreen Solutions. Tipton, thanks for spending some time.
Yeah, this is great.
I know you're busy because this show attracts lots of people, and United Franchise Group businesses tend to draw all of those people, and so you got a lot of talking you've got to do and a lot of people to see. So I appreciate you being here. Let's get right to why should people buy a franchise? And, SuperGreen in particular, but let's start with why any franchise?
Sure. Well, a proven model, something that a person can take that's an entrepreneur and build it and grow it using a proven system and taking some of that risk out of starting their own business.
Okay. And yet, when Ray Titus, I interviewed him earlier, and he spoke about getting the right people on the bus, the right personality for a franchise.
Know that well.
How do you know that somebody is right for SuperGreen Solutions, for example?
Well, we go through a series of steps to make sure that the individual has an aligned vision and goal with us at the end of the day, because that to us makes the right recipe. If at the end of the day we could say, okay, we like this person, we think they could be a brand advocate for us, we believe that they could take and scale our system in that particular marketplace, whether it be international or domestically, then we feel we've got the right recipe for a successful franchise.
And how do you know that? Is it a feeling that, okay, we interviewed John Hayes, he wants to buy a SuperGreen, and we think he would not be a good fit? Is it a feeling, or can you document it scientifically that, okay, here's why we're going to say no?
I think it's a combination of things. We're such a relationship-driven company, and once we're able to spend time with that candidate, go through the Discovery Day tour process, have a number of us on the executive team sit in front of that individual, then all come back together and collaborate and say, well, what did you think? And is this somebody that we could see successfully representing our brand? So I would say, Doctor, it's a combination of both, a gut feeling as well as collaborative feedback from the team.
Okay. And why SuperGreen? What's that all about? Why do people care about SuperGreen Solutions? Why would I buy one?
Well, for us, SuperGreen Solutions has been the fastest growing brand we've had internationally. We're in 11 countries now. It's exciting. As I speak around the world at the U.S. Commercial Services Office's events, it's one of the brands that they want us to talk about most, particularly because of the sector that it's in, certainly energy and coming up with renewable energy around the world. That's been top of mind. As well, it's an exciting industry because it's technology driven. So when we look at some of the core products that we provide, LED, solar panels, other solar particular projects and products, as well as air purification, water purification, a lot of neat things that are technology driven that customers really like.
And do I have a retail outlet, and where am I operating the business from?
Well, we've actually made some interesting changes this year with our 2016 disclosure document. One can start with a lobby showroom model, or one can actually start with a non-showroom model and work from their home or a virtual office space.
How does that work if you're working from home or a virtual office space?
What they would have, they'd have the exact same training, they'd have the exact same resources to access, the exact same support. The difference would be is they would almost have like a territory sales approach. They'd have a defined territory, they would be covering that territory in terms of sales, and they can evolve to a showroom model. If they're looking for that additional credibility down the line, they can evolve to that model and have a showroom.
And then what am I going to face as a franchisee? What's going to be my number one challenge as a franchisee?
Number one challenge is going to be they've got to get out of their own way. And what I mean by that is we have a system that's proven, it works well, but you have to execute on it. And oftentimes in franchising, I've been in franchising myself over 25 years, it's one of those things where the franchisee gets distracted. They're in the business for 90 days or 120 days, whatever the case might be, and they let other things get in the way of those activities that are really designed to build the business. And you've got to get out there, you've got to develop relationships, you've got to build your database, you've got to do these things that are going to keep the pipeline full.
Okay, and some franchisees don't know how to do that or don't want to do that, or they don't do that very well, or what happens?
Well, I don't want to say they don't know how to do it, because our training is pretty good.
Yeah.
It's training that can certainly bring somebody along that has those simple fundamentals that we can build on. It gets to the point where some franchisees simply, again, they're not going out and making the number of calls that they need to make, or collecting the number of contacts that they need to have in their database on an ongoing basis. And that's when I say they get in their own way, because if they're continually diligent about building the database, they're going to build a successful business. It's inevitable. But if they're not doing that, the pipeline's going to dry up.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to How to Buy a Franchise Show. If you want immediate assistance, visit howtobuyafranchise.com to contact Dr. John Hayes for a free consultation.